Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that'll help you become your best self. And today we're talking about how to improve your weaknesses. Before we jump into that, as always, I want to invite you to come say hi to me on social media. I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo. If you want to hit me up on TikTok or Instagram, and how to spell that is down in the show notes below. You're also welcome to send me an email at realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to ask me any questions or comments or concerns or prayer requests, or if you have any topic suggestions, you can leave all of those there. If you do want to submit a topic suggestion, but you don't want to submit it directly to me, there is a link in the show notes to submit an anonymous topic suggestion, so I'll never know that too, but you can still submit the topic for me to review and possibly do on the show. The other link that's down there that's really great is I am coming out with a daily undated planner that is really focused towards emotional reflection and growth, but also like a little section for you to plan your day as well. And so if you would like to RSVP to getting updates and information on getting that planner when it does release, you can go and click that link and sign up. Again, you're not like pre-ordering or anything. There's no money involved. It's really just you signing up to get on the list so that when I have the date for it to be released next month, and then when it actually is released, you'll get an email to be informed, and then you can decide to buy then or not if you'd like. The last one I want to mention is our weekly newsletter that comes out every Wednesday, late afternoon, early evening. It did not come out last week. I was having some difficulties. It will come out this week because I already have it like ready to go. And I think I fixed the problems that I was having. So, anyway, if you want to check out all of that or anything else, check the show notes below. But let's go ahead and jump into today's episode, which is again, how to improve your weaknesses. So, as someone that struggled with perfectionism, I believed I needed to be good at like everything, like literally everything. And if I was not, then I felt like I was a failure. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that thought. Like, and I thought I was a failure in the sense of like that I would not be respected and I would be seen as like a garbage to everyone. I just was nothing because I didn't know how to do everything. And it always appears like a lot of people around you know how to do everything, whether they're like pretending or not. It just feels that way. And, I know, and and we all know that having a mindset like that can be very dramatic, right? I can definitely admit that. But it's the one some of us struggle with. We literally think that we need to be good at everything because everyone kind of makes it seem like they're good at everything. And if you're not good at everything, you're out of the club, you're not part of the group, you are terrible, and that's just the way that your mindset is thinking. But as we realize that weaknesses aren't like a poor reflection on us, they're not this like actual negative connotation that's put on us, the more accepting we will be of these weaknesses and more willing to accept it for what it is or figure out how we can incorporate some work to improve it. And yeah, it's important to realize that, yeah, you can just accept it for what it is and just let it be, or you can figure out what you need to do to actually work on it so it doesn't feel as much of a weakness, sorry, that it feels to you now, and kind of improve it and boost it up. And when we think about weaknesses, we really think of things that lack strength and ability, right? Things that we're just not good at, while also being seen as like a disadvantage to us, right? So we're like, oh, we don't know. Like for me, I feel like one of my biggest weaknesses is I don't know how to really use spreadsheets. Like I know how to like open a Google sheet or an Excel doc and then like make like the most basic spreadsheet you've ever seen, but I'm not out here doing formulas or VLOOKUP or pivot tables or any of this crap. I am not doing any of that, and that is one of my weaknesses, especially in the job that I used to do and the job that I kind of do now. So that would be like a weakness to me. Um, and it is kind of a disadvantage, especially for when I used to do um, marketing on the Amazon platform. It kind of was a disadvantage. And so I had to find my way around it or always ask for help for certain things. And so that would be a weakness. But it's things that you aren't as practiced in or skilled in or experienced in, that also don't provide any benefit to you. So me not knowing how to use Google Sheets or Excel is definitely not benefiting me at all. If anything, it's kind of detrimental to my day-to-day like work life, right? But and so just think of it that way. And any weakness that you have, it definitely could be a mindset, it could be a behavior, and it could be like a general skill, like I was talking about, something that you just don't know how to do. And weaknesses can easily come across as things that lead us to feeling shameful or feeling out of place, maybe even inadequate, or maybe even lost, right? All of these things, and maybe even more that I haven't even mentioned here. But I feel like weaknesses can just make us have all of these different feelings. And, we can feel lost in the idea that we don't know how to determine what we should or shouldn't do in life with the weaknesses that we have in comparison to our strengths. It's kind of like, well, how can I do this thing since I have like these certain weaknesses that I really wish weren't weaknesses, because it would make me going after this certain goal or this certain job or whatever a lot easier because I would know how to do these things, right? Or it's like, well, I haven't really figured out what I want to do in life because these weaknesses and these strengths, there doesn't feel like there's like a middle ground, and anything that only goes around your strengths doesn't feel like it would be the right thing, like the perfect fit for you, right? And then, feeling out of place can come from being weak in areas those around you are not, you know? Um, if everyone around you is like really good at playing basketball or using spreadsheets or managing their money, like, or I wasn't very good at that for the first part of my life either. I'll tell you that much. I got better at that, thank goodness. Or maybe it's like using, social media, right? Maybe that's a struggle. Maybe it's cleaning the house. Who knows? Like maybe it's driving a stick shift, whatever it may be. If it feels like everyone around you is able to do those things, and those things, that thing is like your weakness, then you can definitely feel out of place from that. And then, inadequacy or feeling less than is a common feeling around weakness, because if you don't feel on par with those around you, like that you're at the same level, it doesn't feel like enough. It feels like you're lacking something because, again, you're not able to measure up to these people that are around you, which feels like the only way for you to get respect, the only way for you to fit in, the only way for life to just be fantastic is you have to be able to measure up. But instead, you feel like it's not enough, it's a lack, you're lacking because this thing is a weakness rather than a strength. When in reality, out of all of these things, we don't need to feel shame or any of these emotions in regards to our weaknesses, because these aren't bad things that define us, right? These are not these negative connotations. Plus, this is the important plus. Plus, every single person alive has a weakness. Okay? Every single person does. Whether they put it on blast or not, every single person has a weakness. And no one is perfect, remember? That is our daily reminder. No one is perfect. And, just because I am about to, well, before we move on to that, again, we have this shameful feeling of what weakness is, and it's not that. I know it can be hard to kind of get out of that mindset. For sure, it might take time, but it doesn't have to be this shameful thing. It just literally be like a fact about yourself. You're not good at spreadsheets. you know, you're not good at driving a stick shift, right? You're not good at painting walls. I am not good at painting walls, guys. I'm terrible. Like for real, it's like so terrible that once I did try to paint a room, and then we had to pay someone to paint on top of it because it was that bad. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. So, but I don't feel shameful about that. I think it sucks because I would love to paint more, and I'm going to try to learn how to do a better job at it. But it shouldn't be this thing that just like causes you so much, brings so much shame and feelings of feeling less than and inadequate, and not as though you were like doing your best or would even be able to match up to other people, right? So just remember that It doesn't have to be that thing. It's not automatically that thing. It does not have to be shameful at all. But moving on, just because I'm about to give you some tips on how to improve these things, these weaknesses that you aren't super strong at, doesn't mean you have to. And I know that you probably opened this episode thinking, yeah, I do want to improve my weaknesses, Sabrina. That is why I'm here. I just want to remind you that you don't have to, though. Like, if it doesn't seem important enough to you, if you aren't bothered by your weaknesses, then don't mess with anything. Just let it be. Because, someone else might be bothered by your weaknesses, but it's not about them, it's about you, right? Just because something isn't at the same level as other things doesn't mean it has to change. It's not a requirement, right? And I know it seems like anything that doesn't match the same level of capability or perception as everything else requires some work to be done to get it in sync, right? To match up. But it's not really necessary. It's not. Some people might try to convince you that it is, but it's not. It's absolutely not. Honestly, it's they might say that it's necessary because it makes them feel more comfortable, and it's not about you at all. And sometimes things just need to stay where they're at until the timing is better. Until the timing is right. Or until it becomes an issue for you. Like for me, if not knowing how to use spreadsheets really became an issue for me, like I had to do it every single day, then yeah, I would have to work on it. I'd have to be like, okay, here we go down the rabbit hole to figure out how to use frickin' spreadsheets, do formulas, all the things, right? But right now, it's kind of like, it's just not the right time. I don't need to. I know how to use it for the basic functions that help me get through day to day, and that's good enough for me, right? So you don't have to do anything about it if you don't want to. Some people, again, might try to push you to do that, but it's about what you want, not what they want. And this also means that at any point, you can decide to work on your weaknesses if you want. It's whatever you believe will serve you best. So if you believe now is the time, okay, do it. And you're like, no, now is not the time. I have other things to do. And it's not bothering you, great, just leave it. Let it be. Let it sit back and chill. It's totally fine. And, before we jump into the tips, another thing that comes to mind to mention to you if you are looking to improve your weaknesses or even think about this topic at all is if other people are pushing you to work on your weaknesses, make sure it's not only for their benefit. And, it's just that I know some people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, why are you being so paranoid? It's just that sometimes people can come across as being helpful and supportive, but there may also be an underlying level of manipulation if the weakness they want you to work on will benefit them more than you, right? So it's just important to be aware because if you aren't familiar with manipulation tactics and people, being able to say things to convince you to do things, then this might just fly right over your head and you won't realize it until like way down the line. And it's just good to be aware. I don't say being paranoid, just like be aware. And it could be a skill to them that would allow them to maybe pass more work onto you, right? If you learn how to do something, like if I learned how to do spreadsheets, for sure, like not for sure, I take that back, but it could be possible that someone's like, oh my gosh, she finally knows how to do spreadsheets. I'm gonna have her do all my spreadsheets so I don't have to do them anymore, right? It's like, oh no. But yeah, it could be a skill or it could be a mindset that would allow them to place more burden on you. So if you got really good at, I don't know, like really being kind to certain people that are kind of like a lot to handle, then maybe they would want to just push more on you so they wouldn't have to deal with it at all and they wouldn't have to work on the level of weakness that they're at with that behavior. You know what I mean? Or with that mindset. Or it could be a behavior that would put more responsibility onto you. So, regardless, it's something to keep in mind if someone seems to be pressing you to work on your weaknesses. If they're really like, oh, yeah, you really should do that, you really should do that, and they're talking to you often about it and, giving you ideas on how you could do it, but it doesn't really seem like it would benefit you that much and you don't really care, then just be like, hey, I don't really care. That doesn't really bother me right now and see if they get upset about it or bothered about it. because they're just trying to pass something on to you, manipulate you into doing something that will benefit them the most and actually benefit you less over time, really, when we think about it. Okay, but so to move into the tips, if you believe it's the right time to share, why would I say that? If you believe it's the right time to start working on your weaknesses, then here are some tips on how to improve those things. I'm so sorry. To improve those things. So I apologize. I try to like hold my yawns in. But that one escaped me. I apologize. Anyway, uh if you believe it's the right time to start working on your weaknesses, my friends, then here are some tips on how to improve those things starting today. But before we go into the list, as always, this list is not a conclusive list. If you find that you do not like these tips in this list, please ask a therapist, ask a counselor, go online to Google and type in how to improve your weaknesses and see if something fits you better, because this is just based on my own knowledge, my own experience, and other people's experiences. Okay, so we have 7 tips. Let's jump right in. Number 1, honor your vulnerabilities. Yes, vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities for the win. Honor your vulnerabilities. So I want you to know and accept that those things that feel uncomfortable and messy, because vulnerability can feel very messy because you're like, why do I feel this way about this thing? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that feel uncomfortable and messy to you are still so important to you, who you are. So important, so critical, so crucial, so important. And not everything needs to be something you're amazing at, because we are all growing every single day. So let's say that you do start working on this weakness. It doesn't need to, end up being some sort of amazing thing by the end. You don't have to press it that far if that's not what you desire. Because we're all working and growing, and it's okay that we all have weaknesses, because we all have them and we're all continuing to get better. And sometimes new weaknesses pop up that we didn't even realize, and bam, we're all faced with a new weakness that we can decide how much growth we want to pour into it that would benefit us the best. But it's important to honor your vulnerabilities, the things that you feel uncomfortable about, the things that feel messy, the things that feel like, oh, how is this even going to work out? Sharing your true emotions and feelings about things, about the weaknesses. And you just need to honor those things and accept that, okay, that's how I feel about it. That's going to carry me through and be a consistent thing. And I'm okay with that, because that's who I am and that represents me fully, right? And if you did start like super on top of it, feeling comfortable and confident and like this is gonna be awesome, I feel like it would be a really disingenuous and not really a true representation of where you are right now, starting to, work on your weaknesses. Okay, number 2, accept your mistakes and failures. If you're not new to this podcast, then you already know. Mistakes and failures are one of the best ways for us to learn different lessons in life. It's amazing. It sucks in the moment when you're going through these things. You're like, this is not fun. I do not want to be here. But you learn so many crucial things for you to take when you try again or when you do something different in the future. So, if the reason you are weak in this area of your life, of whatever it is because making mistakes and experiencing failures while improving scares you, then learning to accept these things will help you grow greatly, right? So if you're like, this is a weakness, using spreadsheets is a weakness for me, but I don't want to because I'm afraid of messing up a spreadsheet and making a mistake. I'm afraid that I will create some big report and I actually will fail at it because I did it totally wrong because I don't know what I'm doing. That can be scary and make you not want to work on it at all or want to improve it. Put the time in. But we need to realize and accept that, yeah, those things will happen, but it'll be okay. And we'll be able to pick ourselves back up again and try again and know that, okay, that way didn't work. Let's figure out what went wrong and take that knowledge forward into the future with you. Just know and accept that you will make mistakes and you will experience failures, and that's okay. And just know that there is so much strength inside of you for accepting that that will happen and you continuing to move forward outside of your comfort zone. That is so much growth and a lot of growth that a lot of people don't even ever experience, which is really sad. So just be proud of yourself if you do. Number 3, find your way of growing. So super important. So super important. Find your way of growing. I wanted to make sure that I noted the fact that it's so important for you to find your own way. Because let me tell you, when you go and research this topic online, they're all the same tips. It's all the same research. Only here and there is it different. And, it's just and I'm just, out there looking well, what would be the reasonings and how do we feel about this? And, what were the struggles that people went through? And I was just and I was just really thinking, I was like, I need to talk about how it's important for you to find your way of growing because not everyone learns the same or progresses the same because when we focus too much on that, we, you know, fall into comparison and then everything gets messed up. But if we know from the get-go that we don't learn and process and progress the same as other people, then it's okay, that's just a fact and we just need to accept it. So find the way that works best for you and at the pace you need to go. You don't need to rush it just because someone else is going faster. It's not a race, I promise, unless it is a race, but it's usually not. Or you're being told to go faster, again, by someone else that has their best interests at heart and not necessarily yours. Because they either, maybe, you excelling is a positive for them in someone else's eyes. Or again, they just want to manipulate you into figuring something out so they can pass more work onto you so that their load can be lighter. And sometimes, I understand. I understand that sometimes that is a real thing. That's okay. Like, for example, if you're starting a job and someone's like, okay, well, right now we don't have enough people, but now we hired you. So we have enough people to do all the work. And I need to teach you how to do spreadsheets because spreadsheets is going to be your job. That would be an instance where it's okay, yeah, they do want to unburden themselves with this task because they have too many tasks, or it's the task that you were meant to do. But if that were the case, if I went into a job and I knew that that was going to be my job, I wouldn't take that job. But you get what I'm saying, right? That would be an opportunity where that would be appropriate. But I feel like a lot of other times they're just doing it for themselves, not for you. But anyway, don't rush it. You don't have to go faster if you don't want to. For it to work the best for you, you need to do it the way that you need to get it done. So however your growth plan is for improving this weakness, do it that's best going to serve you and not someone else. And do it at the rate that you need to go. That would actually, progress would happen. So you're not super snail pace, but not so fast that you're rushing and you're not doing the due diligence of time and effort that you need to put into it to really work on yourself. Okay. Number 4, understand your growth will be uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. So it's as we mentioned in the first tip, which was, honoring your vulnerability, talking about feeling uncomfortable. It's really important that you understand that even the growth and the progress that you make will feel uncomfortable at some points. And you just need to acknowledge that and accept it. There will be times when it's fun and it's exciting that you're, improving your weakness. But other times it will be awkward and uncomfortable. It just will. And it's easy to give up when things get too uncomfortable, right? Because you're just this is enough, or I don't want to do this, or this isn't fun anymore, or I don't see the point, or whatever. It's not great, right? It's easy to give up when things get too comfortable, but growth rarely happens when everything is easy and you don't have to persevere through any challenges or struggles, right? So decide to embrace the challenge and be willing to wade through the period of time where growth is really uncomfortable because you're going to learn so much and get the experience of pushing through and persevering, that will um, that will easily help you in the future, right? That will be applied to what you do in the future. And the more you do it, the more experience you have in it, the easier to become. And it won't feel so uncomfortable going through that type of growth. You know what I mean? So understand that your growth will be uncomfortable, and that's okay. You just have to accept it. Just be like, I'm here to be uncomfortable, and I don't need to feel bad about it. And some people might try to make me feel bad about it, but I don't need to listen to them because they're not here doing the work, and I don't care. You know what I mean? Okay. Number 5, create a plan of improvement that includes milestones. Milestones. It's important to create a plan, okay? Now, it doesn't have to be like, 20-step plan with like so many like 5 steps, like sub steps and all of these things. It's unnecessary. No, just create a plan of improvement that includes milestones. And it's great to create a plan so you know what to do in small steps. So you don't feel lost. You feel like you know how to make your way back to the journey if you take some sort of tangent. So you think you can get better at whatever is your desire, whatever the weakness is. But having a plan that includes milestones will build in that extra motivation to keep going because you'll hit milestones that validate the work you're doing. And I think this is an okay piece of validation that will help you in your life for reals. So, this isn't like just directed towards weaknesses. This is really anything. If you create a plan, you should create a plan that has milestones so that when you hit those milestones, you're like, "Oh, yay. I feel so accomplished. I feel so proud and excited that I've made it here." And you're more likely to press on as opposed to just having this one really long goal where you don't find any points where you get excited or you feel like you're actually making the progress. You can actually see it, it feels tangible to you because that's what you need, right? That is what you need. So for me, if I were to work on spreadsheets, for me, being able to actually learn how to put a formula in to the spreadsheet and see it actually work, that would be a milestone for me, right? And then another milestone would be learning how to do another type of chart thing in there where you're able to maybe have multiple sheets all working together to have multiple formulas happening at the same time. That would be a milestone, right? So it's important to implement milestones that will help you kind of have a mini, mini, tiny celebration throughout your entire plan that will help you to continue to keep going. So, whatever the weakness is that you're working on, you have all these little steps these little spots that you hit along the way that you can celebrate at. And you're like, yay, look how far I've come and look how far I have to go. It's really great. Just make sure the milestones aren't too close together. So there is a push to keep going, right? You don't want to have them like back to back to back. But, make sure that they're periodic enough that it's the boost that you need to not give up on the goal in total. So, if your goal is going to be, or your plan will take like, I don't know, you think it'll take a month, you could have a milestone every week, but just make sure that you have the milestone every week as opposed to having maybe one milestone in the middle, which might feel so far away. But you also don't want to have like 3 milestones a week because then it defeats the whole purpose of like having something to work towards and then hit and then continue to repeat that kind of thing. So, create a plan of improvement for your weakness that includes milestones. Number 6. Remember, 6 out of 7, guys. Lower your expectations. Lower your expectations. So, just because you have chosen to work on this thing, this weakness, doesn't mean you will be as good at it as other things that you excel at or as strong as someone else, even, right? You might think it's a downer to say to you to lower your expectations, but this will actually help you, again, persevere and keep going and to not want to give up. Because if you think that, if I've ever thought that my ability to do spreadsheets has to match the ability that my husband does spreadsheets, oh no, I just wouldn't try. I just would not try. It would be ridiculous. It would be unnecessary for me. I would just be like, oh no, go bye. Um, because it's too much. It's too much. He's like a wizard. And I am just a lowly person down here that knows nothing. So if I was going to work on that, I would have to lower my expectations and be like, I'm just here to be able to do these whatever skills that are necessary for me to do in my job or whatever the reason is I have to learn how to use a spreadsheet and then be fine with that. Be fine with that, right? And then if I learned all those things, then you could create another plan to increase them even more, right? Because something that I should have mentioned earlier, but I'm going to mention it right now, is that your something that you consider to be a weakness can be considered a strength to someone else. And that's important to keep in mind because if my weakness, if I consider, let's think of it. I just came up with this off the cuff, so I'm really trying to figure out what an example would be. Let's see. So if I feel like my weakness is not being able to, I don't know. I'm really trying to think of an example off the top of my head, and I'm like, I am not doing very well. If I consider my weakness of not being able to do like a pivot table in Excel, I'm back to Excel, you guys. All I'm thinking is freaking um, is freaking spreadsheets. Okay, so if I consider my weakness of not being able to do a pivot table in Excel, but I'm able to at least set up a basic spreadsheet where I can freeze the columns and have everything organized and kind of have multiple pages set up so I can easily organize the information I have. I might see that as a weakness, and someone else can see that as a strength because they wouldn't even know how to begin with how to freeze the columns or how to even add multiple pages in the spreadsheet, right? And so it's important for you to realize that, your what you consider to be your weaknesses can definitely be someone else's strength of you can't do the pivot table, but and you can only do setting up a page. And maybe the only thing that they can do is open the application and type a couple things in and you know what I mean? And then they're like, no, that's a strength to me because I actually have figured out how to open it up and get certain information in there. Oh, here's a better example. And I'm not going to cut any of this out because I like to be really honest with you guys. Another example would be if you're at the gym. I should have just came up with this one initially. So if you're at the gym and your weakness in your mind is that you can only squat, barbell squat 150 pounds, right? And you're like, oh, that's a weakness to me because I really want to be able to do 175, right? But I can only do 150. So it's a weakness to you. But for someone else, that would be seen as a strength because if they are, they were previously at 125 and they finally moved up to 150 and they're like, oh yeah, I can actually squat 150 now. That's a strength, right? And so it just, the perspective changes and it's always important to have perspective in different things that are happening in life. This tangent has gone on long enough, but it was very important for me to tell you that because, again, whatever you need to lower your expectations again because despite the fact that you see whatever this thing is as a weakness, someone else could see it as a strength for them. And as you progress that weakness into something a little bit stronger, you might want to do more and more and more, it ends up being a strength, and then it can all of a sudden just like flip and all of a sudden become what you would see and consider as a weakness. Again, why did it take me 4 minutes to tell you all of that? I don't know, and I apologize. But lower your expectations, okay? Um, Manage your expectations to know that you can improve at anything you work at. You really can. You can improve. I'm not saying you're going to be the best or it's going to be a fantastic. You can improve though, but it may not be the expert level that you were hoping for. Also, keep that in mind. And I have already done that for the spreadsheet thing. I already know that I am not going to hit the expert level that my husband is at, wizardry level of spreadsheets. Absolutely not. No. And if I do, that's fantastic, but I'm not going to have the expectation that I need to be there. And it might only be enough that you can get by on those skills and abilities, which is exactly where I am for spreadsheets, and I'm fine with that. But you might still need to ask others to sub in when necessary, and that's okay. Meaning that even though I would do a little bit of work to learn how to do like 1 or 2 formulas in Excel or in Google Sheets, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to just be whipping out spreadsheets, and I might still need to ask people for help. Or maybe I've worked on me painting walls and it looks like an okay job, but I still would rather pay someone else to do the job because it's still considered a weakness for me, and I need this to look like professional level and not just amateur level that I'm like kind of working on. Do you know what I mean? So, you might be working on it and it may be growing and becoming something stronger, but it's still not at the level that it would need to be for you. And so you still have someone else do it because it's still a weakness for you that you need to look better than it would if you did it. And I think that's totally okay. Actually, my husband and I are very in the mindset of like, if we know someone else can do it better and it needs to be done well, just pay someone else to do it if you have the funds and if that's necessary. So it's okay. But it's okay to even just ask for help and ask for guidance if you still aren't there yet, because people love to help, you know? People love to work in their giftings and their skills. So no need to feel less or bad about it, because yeah, allowing people to help you benefits them and it benefits you too. And us all being different is the reason why we should come together more often to help each other. And I say that all the time because I know that we are made different on purpose to create that utopian community that would be so super cool to have. But we don't. Okay, number 7. Let's wrap this up because I went on a 4-minute tangent that was unnecessary. Have people to support and help you when you need it. Of course, I had to end on this one because you do need people to help you and support you when you need it, when you're working on your weaknesses, when you're trying to get things to become stronger. Having a support system is really helpful, which is hilarious coming from me, who is like lowly person, no friends. I have a few people and some people to lean on. I need to better this for sure. So I'm definitely speaking this to myself as well. But yeah, having one is so helpful because you can have people to lean on and ask for help if it comes to that, if it comes to you needing help. And you also won't feel alone like in your journey to improve like whatever it is that you're working on, which can be really helpful. And even if you think you won't need help or think it's uncomfortable to ask for help, you should still have a couple people you can reach out to just in case, because there's going to be a just in case time where you need someone to help you. And it'd be nice if you already know who to call. And to better your feelings about asking people for help, if that makes you, feel uncomfortable, feel awkward, I get you. That's where I'm at. Because it's not easy to do so when you've been rejected in the past, right? For asking for help, or you live in the mindset that you have to do everything on your own so that you can be seen as capable and respected. Making sure that you have people on board to ask for help can help you like get out of those mindsets that are kind of holding you captive. Me too. Me too. Okay? Like I let those things hold me captive because for some reason I struggle to believe that asking for help is a glorious thing. I mean, I believe it in my mind. In actions, it's tough. I'm still working on that. So if you're still working on it, it's okay. You're not alone. But yeah, have people to support you. even if it's just two people, and to be there to help you if you need help. And then you can help them too. And it just goes back and forth, and it's amazing. So consider that when you're working on those weaknesses and you have people to just lean on, which is awesome. But that's all I have for you today. So thank you so much for listening to Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, with me, Sabrina. Thank you so much for listening, downloading, sharing the show. I appreciate you all. Don't forget to check the show notes for everything that I chatted about if you want to check it all out. But until next time, have a good one, and I will see y'all next time. Bye, everyone.